We have been lied to, bamboozled, hoodwinked. The promise of big tech's AI future, is it all a lie? Are they about to create another 2000s style .com bubble burst for our already on the edge economy? My name is UK. Let's have a chat about it, shall we? Hello everybody and welcome. Did you hear recently that Amazon has pulled the plug on its Just Walk Out grocery store, the flagship AI grocery store of tomorrow? Well, I did, and there's a lot of interesting stuff going on behind the scenes that I wasn't aware of until recently. See, a new report came out that said all of the technology that went into this Just Walk Out store, essentially a grocery store you walk into, you grab your groceries off the shelf, put them in your basket, and using the power of AI, sensors, cameras, new technology is gonna calculate everything that you've bought. You walk out of the store, you'll be texted or emailed your receipt, and away you go. No checkout, no fuss. The way of the future according to Amazon. Well, it turns out this is just one of those big tech lies where the reality of the situation is they have 1,000 workers over in India watching security cameras in the building, tracking everything that people are buying, tallying it up, and then them sending the email receipt to the customer. So basically it just turns out to be a big scam. And it's really funny. I'm going to play a clip of what they said on the release of this new store.
Once in the store, the cameras above, coupled with shelf sensors, will detect items removed from shelves by a consumer and will add that item to their virtual cart. If the shopper puts the items back, whether in the same location or somewhere else, the item is removed from the virtual cart. Shelf sensors detect any change in weight when a product is taken or returned to a shelf. These sensors reconcile data with computer vision, the cameras, to build an accurate virtual cart.
So yeah, while the technology sounds great, the utopian society of walking in and out of stores, just grabbing what you need and walking away sounds absolutely fantastic. The truth of the matter is we're a ways away from that just yet. And this is going to lead on to how AI is actually affecting me personally. You see, I work in SEO. If you don't know what that is, basically it's search engine optimization. It is my job to make sure my clients' websites rank higher in the search engines. Google, who have been going hard with their AI push in 2024, have been flip-flopping on their stance on AI. As somebody who's trying to get to the bottom of, well, can we use AI content? Are there penalties for using AI content? What type of AI content is allowed on websites? There is no clear stance or framework. 1 minute, the Google helpful update says, yeah, you can use AI generated content in your websites and no problem. As long as it's useful and as long as it provides value, you go ahead. A week later, they're blacklisting and sending tens, if not hundreds of thousands of websites that used AI generated content into the black hole of the abyss. These websites are no longer to be found and may as well no longer exist on the internet. So while it seems it's fair for Google and their suggestive search experience to filter their own version of everybody else's content into their little suggestive experience box, it seems us as human beings, we're not allowed to do that. We will be punished. If you've ever wondered why over the last month or so you've noticed that when you do a Google search and you ask a question, chances are you've seen a Reddit thread pop up. Now, this isn't anything new. Reddit has always been pretty well situated in the search results when you do a search specifically for a question. Same thing with Quora. But just last month, Google signed a $60 million a year deal with Reddit right before Reddit's IPO. Now, this deal was basically a content licensing deal to show Reddit user-generated content in the Google SERPs to train Google's AI, Gemini. Don't even get me started on Gemini. When we're talking about big tech faking stuff, you only need to look back to last year and Google's unveiling of their Gemini AI object machine learning technology, where they released a video and apparently, according to whistleblowers, yeah, it was faked. Most of it was pre-recorded and then edited in post. You see, these big tech companies, they can get away with this. They can tout AI as the future and then create this massive hype and demand into AI-related hardware and software, which pushes up the stock market, which pushes up the stock prices of these hardware and software companies. Our stock market, our entire economy has been on the brink of collapse for the last 2 years now. The only thing holding our economy up is these big tech companies. Look at Nvidia. Look at Nvidia's growth over the last couple of years. It's monumental. Nvidia are some of the biggest players in the AI industry. You see, now it's so easy for retail investors to get on board these stock hype trains to the moon. So you'll have every Tom, Dick, and Harry investing all their money in things like Amazon, Nvidia, Google, Facebook, Meta, Apple, all of these companies that are really pushing this AI future. So are we going to see another dot-com bubble burst? Is this going to be the next big thing that just completely shatters the economy? My channel is supposed to be all about good times and good vibes. And you know, this news that keeps coming out about all of these AI technologies and advancements that just, they always seem to be faked. They seem to be faked after hundreds of millions of dollars of investment gets put on the back of these, you know, these commercials or these AI promotions, hyping these investors up to go buy Nvidia stock, go buy Apple stock, go buy Google stock. This stuff is only going to go to the moon. The reality of it is the SEC are never going to look at any of these absolutely bonkers claims that these big tech companies are making. They get away with it time and time again. And who's left holding the bag? It's the retail investors. It's the little guys every time. So while I do believe there is a huge future, a massive potential for AI, especially in things like the upcoming iOS 18 that are going to use on-device AI as opposed to cloud-based AI, I really do feel like the future of taking away a lot of mundane, a lot of boring tasks, a lot of things that, you know, we as humans just don't really want to do, there's massive value there. But how do we get there safely without completely destroying the economy again? How do we get there when, you know, house prices are through the roof, interest rates are through the roof? The entire stock market, besides these few tech companies, in the toilet. Nobody has savings anymore. Nobody has disposable income. Like, we're in a really weird time in the economy, and the last thing we need is for these big tech companies to completely ruin everything with any more of these wild and outlandish claims that you can walk into a grocery store and just like magic, their AI, their systems, their machine learning is gonna do all of your checkout for you. Like, no more of that. We need to hold these companies accountable for when they tell these lies, right? You can't keep getting away with this, big tech. This happened in 2000. All of this crazy panic buying of these tech companies, these tech stocks, that nobody had a clue what they did or how they functioned, but because they were a .com, they had to invest. What happened? Exactly what's happening right now. Our tech stocks to the moon. Just today I was looking at the stocks and Nvidia's starting to drop, third day in a row. Is this the start? Who knows? I'm not a financial advisor, but what I do know is the effects of that 2000.com bubble bursting was catastrophic for a large portion of the population. We don't need that again. Let's not do that again. SEC, the government, you're supposed to be for the people, by the people. How about you start policing some of this blatant investor fraud and manipulation where companies like Amazon and Google can get away with showcasing technology that exists today that in fact doesn't exist today. It's people in India doing jobs that they're claiming is being done by AI and machine learning. This is fraud. This is investor fraud. How about when I do a Google search for a question, a medical question, and instead of seeing something like WebMD or I don't know, Harvard, I get Reddit. I get a 5-year Reddit post of some dude who had some kind of similar medical thing to what I'm experiencing now and is sharing his opinion. There's no room for that in today's society. It's all money driven, and it's kind of getting too much. It's getting to a point where it's affecting day-to-day lives. These forum post search results for serious questions that, you know, for the last 15 years, Google has been fantastic about. You could go to Google and you could do a search for something scientific, medical, engineering, whatever it may be, over the last 15 years, and you would usually get within the top 3 results something useful, something credible. Now what do you get? Well, you get a Reddit post of some dude asking some question filled with a bunch of random responses where nobody really knows the answer to the question. But because Google signed that $60 million deal with Reddit to machine learn and to train Gemini's AI, we're going to have to suffer the consequences of this as regular everyday searchers. Bing are even worse. Bing now basically scrapes content from websites and then presents it in a little Bing box as its own. And it doesn't care whether the content is truthful or relevant or accurate. Its AI, ChatGPT, OpenAI, whichever one it's using, is basically trying to solve a problem that didn't exist before the introduction of AI into these search results. Google was fantastic. There's a reason Google and Alphabet are billion-dollar companies. It's not because of their AI. I can assure you, they did one thing really, really well. You did a Google search, you got a good result, everybody was happy. Now it's AI. Now everything has to be AI. And if you're a tech company and you're not on the AI bandwagon, well, your stock's in the toilet right now. Where do we go from here? Is there an end in sight? Are we going to go into another huge recession? Technically, we're in a recession right now. I don't know what other word I would use to describe this economy. Who knows what the future holds? But what I know is that when tech companies lie on such a grandiose scale, stock prices go up, the lies come out, and they're not held accountable for these lies, ever. And regular Joes lose all of their money invested in these tech stocks based on what they think is the next big thing. It's gotta stop. There are so many layers to the AI big tech onion that you could peel back for days, weeks probably. It's going to be really interesting to see how this all shakes out in the coming weeks and months. Is Nvidia stock going to rebound? Is the next big AI thing going to just around the corner and the stock market's going to be propped up for a little bit longer? Who knows? But let's keep an eye out. Let's try and hold these big tech companies responsible, and let's look out for each other. If you've got a friend or a buddy and they're all in there to the moon with some of these stocks on their Robinhood accounts, pull them aside and have a chat. I don't know, maybe show them this video, because right now this is all a house of cards. It really is. History is going to repeat itself, whether it's now or next year. These things are going to happen. So try not to fall victim to it. Stay safe out there, everybody. My name is UK. You've been fantastic. I will see you in the next one.